First section in this course will be how to set up our lab. The lab, it's divided to two different parts. We have a virtual lab that will be installed on your PC, and this will be a VMware player that have Kali Linux inside. And also we need to install our Android platform, and we're gonna do that in two different lectures. So let's start by set up Kali Linux in a virtual machine in our computer as the first part of the lab setting. First, we need to install Kali Linux software, and you can Google it, type download Kali Linux, and you can go to their official website, which is kali.org. You go there and you will find different Kali Linux for 64 or 32-bit virtual machine or virtual hard drive. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna install the 32-bit. It doesn't matter the operating systems that you have on your machine. You may have an operating system which is 64, but it doesn't matter, because after all, we're gonna install this image inside the virtual machine. So I want you to download this Kali Linux 32-bit. There is different way for downloading. You're gonna click on ISO, and as you can see, you're gonna start downloading that. It's around 3 GB, but I already downloaded, so I will save you time. And this is the Kali Linux after downloading it. Second step, it's to download an installed virtual machine or VMware player. So you can do the same. You can go to download VMware player, and it's a free software. And if you was one of my enrolled students, most probably you went through that before, so you don't need to repeat such step. So you go to, I'm sorry, you should not type 32. I don't think they have a 32, but you can go to their official website and you can download the latest version. This is the VMware player. They have version 12 right now. So you just download it, player for Windows 64 for Linux. Since we have Windows, you're gonna download this one and install it. So those are the first two softwares that you need to install. After installing the VMware player, sorry, not the workstation, I want you to install the VMware player. Yeah, this is the one, right? Yeah, player, exactly. Yeah, this is the right one. Once you install VMware player, you download it and install it, it will look like this. So you open the VMware player, and when the VMware player have been installed the first time, you should not find any images on the left pane. So this one should be empty. But since mine is an old one, and I did install many virtual machines inside, that's why I have a lot of entry here. But in your case, if you just installed VMware player, it should be empty. So now we need to set up Kali Linux inside your virtual machine player. So you go to create a new virtual machine and you choose the last option, which is I will install the operating system later, and you click on next. We're going to choose from here which operating system. In our case, it will be Linux. And from the menu here, you should choose other 2.6 kernel, this one. And you click on next. Then you can give him here any name. You can name it Kali Android, Kali Hacking course. Or you can just name it Kali, but actually, since I have a name, I have a course with the same name, or a virtual machine with the same name, so it will be a problem. But in your case, if this is new, you can name whatever you want. This is optional actually, and this will be the names that will be showing on the left pane. And I usually suggest to save the virtual image in any drive except C, because most probably it will increase and it will fill the drive, and if the C drive gets filled, you will start having problems. So in my case, I'm gonna I have an external hard drive. I'm going to install it on this external hard drive. And you click on next. This one is 8. It's better to increase it a little bit, maybe 12 or 15. And finish. So now, as you can see, we created a virtual machine, except it's empty. It's like you bought a computer that doesn't have an operating system. So if you power on, nothing will start. But before installing the Kali Linux inside, you need to go to setting here. And you need to set up your virtual machine. This is like you are creating a virtual machine that is taking resources from your physical machine. So what I need to do first, when it comes to memory, instead of 256, which is very, very low amount of memory, you need to increase it. I'll make it 2 because I have 16 GB, but it depends about how much memory do you have in your computer. So if you only have 4 or 2, I think 1 GB will be okay. Then you should go to the CD-ROM here, and usually the default setting will be he's using the physical drive. So you need to change that, and you need to change, I'm going to use an ISO image. And you need to point to the Kali Linux ISO image that we downloaded from the official website. So you go there. For me, I did save the image on the H drive in a folder called ISO. Here you go, and Kali. And we click on OK. So first you need to change the memory. Then you need to go to the CD DVD and point to the ISO image that you downloaded from the official website. Now you set to go to launch the Kali Linux virtual machine and to install the Kali Linux in such virtual machine. So we're going to right click on it and you're going to power on. Once you get that, you will get different option here. So what you're going to do is that you're going to choose to install a graphical interface. So you go to install graphical Linux. Sorry, it's not that clear. Let me wear my glasses. You can run it as a live CD, but this will actually be a temporary. So whenever you shut down the computer, it will remove whatever you created. So you need to go to the installation, but graphical install. So you need to go to this one and click on enter. I'll guide you until it starts the installation, but the process usually takes around 45 minutes. So once he starts the installation, we're going to pause the video until he finishes. It's a straightforward installation, just like Windows. And once he finishes installation, I'm going to show you how to increase the screen size so it will not disturb you. First thing he's asking about the language, so it's English unless you need to change that. He's asking about your location. All those options can be changed later on, but you know, let's keep the default right now. So he's now starting checking the configuration and loading the component for the installation. As I mentioned, it may take around 45 minutes once you finish the basic setup and leave him installing the Kali. Okay, now what is the computer name? You can keep the default Kali, or if you need to change it, the domain name, keep it empty. Nothing, actually no input will be giving from your side except this step where you need to add root password. This is mandatory, it's not option. So you can put whatever password you want twice, and this will be the root password. Root in Linux, if you are not aware of that, it's like an administrator in Windows. So when you add a root account or log in as a root on your system, you're gonna have full access to it. And everything's still the same. Timing, checking the disk. Okay, so he's gonna say that we're gonna use the entry disk and everything will be deleted, but this will be the virtual disk. So you don't have to worry about your physical disk. This is completely different. You're gonna use this drive, fine, and all file will be deleted, no problem. Finish partitioning and change to disk. Okay. Partition disk. Write the partition to the disk. This option is better to choose yes. I think he start copying the file. This will take time, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depend about the amount of memory you allocated for this disk. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pause the video until he finish installing. That I'm going to show you how to log in and change the. So he almost finished the installation. Here is asking you if you need to install the network mirror. This is actually an excellent tool, so you should keep it. Click on continue. And this is if you are working behind a proxy. Right now we are not, so we'll keep the default. And we're gonna pause it one more time. Another question about the bootloader. Also, you're gonna keep the default. You notice that we are keeping the default in most of the options. Only things that need input from your side, like password or something like that, you have to write them down. This one, you choose the second one, and almost there. And finally, installation is completed. So let's continue. He's finalizing the process. Just a few seconds more. Installation has been completed and the machine has been restarted automatically. And now we're going to wait until it starts and log in and make sure that the Kali Linux is working fine. Next lecture, I'm going to show you how to modify the desktop or change the resolution setting in a comfortable way for you. So let's wait until it loads. First time it may take some time until it finish loading, but then it will be much more faster than that. Here you go, he's asking about the username, which is root. And later on, if you need to create other user, I'm going to show you how to do that, but most probably you don't need root and the password that you did assign while we were installing Kali Linux. And first step is completed now. So first step is to download the VMware player and download the Kali Linux machine, and then create a virtual machine and install Kali Linux inside. Let's wait until it loads, and then next lecture I'm going to show you how to change some configuration so it will be more suitable. And yeah, here you go. So Kali Linux is up and running now. This is the menu. All the options are there, and you can open a terminal, but definitely, you know, it's kind of small. The resolution need to be changed. So this is what we'll be doing the next lecture.